Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings a bell and a member show to the GMP Morning Show.
Olá Bom Dia ALEGRIA, Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show, a live stream and podcast. Now, the show may be shuffled today. We will endeavor to go into the Bom Dia Daily section of the show. There it is, the correct surround and graphic for the screen there. However, Cat Anna, who joins us usually on the first Friday of the month, is in Porto for an event. And she might be joining us a little bit early because I'll tell you a bit more about that in a moment. They may join us earlier than her normal slot. And we've also got Michael Heron, who's flying to Portugal today. You see, he can't stay away. He tries to be Iberian. He's trying to live in Spain, but the power of Portugal is pulling him back. And we'll talk to him today. And we need to talk to him, I think, as he boards an airplane, maybe. Bobby might do the same as well. Bobby's over in the United States as well and was going to check in with us from time to time. So let's see what happens there this morning, and we'll deal with people and welcome our guests. Deal with people sounds a bit threatening, doesn't it? Oh, there's Bobby's tour. I think that's changed. If you are in the United States and you want to talk to him about coming to Portugal, he is in LA for the next couple of days. I think this also is subject to a review and a remix, but suffice to say, he will also be in Dubai twice, Riyadh, Beirut, going back to Dallas at the end of April, and Houston, and then London in May as well for his world tour with the singing the praises of Portugal and recommending residency by investment for those who can apply for that. Find out if you're eligible, if that's up your street, with him at those meetings around the United States currently, and then the rest, well, not the rest of the world, although I'm sure he'd be happy to keep traveling around the world. He clearly loves to travel, but those are his the places he's chosen for the time being where you can see him around the world. Right, we still need a name for that dinosaur. This came up yesterday. This was a dinosaur, George or Geordie, or Georgie, I think were names that came up yesterday. On the Expats Portugal Dream Team Town Hall session last night, the Letteropenasaurus came up, which I thought was an excellent name for that dinosaur. Do let me know if you agree and if you've got a better idea than that. So let's get into the Bom Dia Daily, and we'll talk about the tariffs being an opportunity for Portuguese wine. We'll get into that. And I was going to tell you about the event that Cat is live at in Porto today as well. But before I do any of that, let me say hello to you. Andairo with some good news this morning. Is it okay to read that out to me as... Oh, great. Fantastic. Thanks. Good news from Andy then. Good morning to you, Andy. Bye, Andy, remember. Now Andairo up in Aveiro. Quick update. The link to the I'm a Change of Address webpage now works. Woohoo! They accepted my info, says Andy, this morning, or in the last 24 hours, it would seem. Sent a confirmation email, then an appointment date to visit their office, July. Wow. So not really an online service, just a stalling tactic. But hey, at least I've got an appointment, which was looking very bleak a few months ago. Living the dream. Nice one, Andy. Thank you for that. So the new way of communicating with IMA, the contact form, is now working. It was introduced, wasn't working especially well. It is now, it would appear. João Ernesto de Norte, Bom Dia Portugal, and that's quite a lot of travel miles. It is, isn't it? Maybe he's going to... I was going to go to Michael Heron at the airport. He's just taken a massive bite of food. Let's do that now then. Enjoy your tapas, mate, or whatever it is. Or are we having a full English and a pint of lager? What's he got? We'll come back to him in just a moment. Jackie, we've got to talk to him when we get the opportunity. I think, as any self-respecting Englishman should, he's got to the airport early. It's like, I'll have a nice pint. I'm flying it. I'm on my holidays. I'm on my holidays. Put some Worcestershire sauce on that. Bom dia todos e feliz sexta. Como está? We're supposed to have sunshine and 20 degrees today in the UK. The weather's great in the UK, isn't it? So off to visit daughter and family for a picnic this afternoon. Hope the storm isn't too bad with you. Well, thank you. It is. It's awful. Thank you very much. And the rain They say it's normal. I'm going to add to that conversation from some reporting I saw this morning and tell you that it's not only normal, it's really normal. It's 229% normal for the time of year. Michael, give us a thumbs up if you're ready to join us on the screen, if you finished your egg and bacon butty or whatever. Are you ready? Okay, let's give him a round of applause. Hello, mate. Pint of Stella. Pint of Stella.
No. Do you know what I was thinking? That the airport pint is something sacred to our British culture, but I haven't indulged in it. I've just had a.
You haven't. What's up with you? You're not feeling well?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's a Friday, but yeah, no, I've got things to do in Lisbon today,
Fair
so I
enough.
can't be arriving all steaming. You know, otherwise, yeah, I've been on my third pint by now, probably.
Is it a British thing only that we do that?
I've spoken about this before with people, and I've said to them, if you ever see anyone drinking beer at 7 a.m. at an airport, in the departures lounge, I'd wager 90% certainty it's someone from the United Kingdom, without a doubt. Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's like, yeah, because you get to the airport and, you know, everyone's, I mean, this is quite an easy flight for me because it's an hour. I live really close to the airport, so I left my apartment about half an hour ago. Already gone through security, so I'm just waiting for I've got about 20 minutes. 20 minutes I can speak to you and your lovely audience.
Oh, that's
but,
great.
You know, you arrive and you sort of, you know, you're looking around, going, you know, everyone's a bit nervous. Where's the departure gate? Where's the boarding gate? And then if you've got time, you sit down, you have a cool, and that pint hits the spot, mate, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, the confirmation is the cargo pants and the England shirt, right, or a football shirt. Then you definitely know you're dealing with it.
But you don't even need to see that. Just anyone with a pint of cold beer in their hands before
Early in the
midday
morning.
in airport will be from the UK.
Yes.
Sure. And I'm sure you're partial as well, mate.
Well, I am. I'd be very, very tempted, I have to say. Morning, Michael and Carl from Pete.
Morning.
A pint before flying. Oh, no. Why not? Oh, she's Welsh. She wouldn't understand.
Oh, Jackie will be the first one there. Don't lie.
Maybe we should travel to the UK for the better weather. Now, this is a weird thing at the moment, isn't it? Because we are, we have our, well, this is an impromptu Iberian broadcast this morning because your timing with your flight is a little bit different to how it is when we normally talk on the first Friday. Let me check in with you to see how everything's going in Spain. Obviously, you're flying back to Portugal because you can't stay away. But how's life going in Spain at the moment?
I'm in Portugal for administrative reasons only, mate.
Yeah.
But but no. Well, we had great weather the last couple of weeks, and it just started raining yesterday. But everything's good, mate. Everything's really good. Lots going on. I haven't had time to do any content, which has been a bit annoying. But I plan to start doing that again after Easter regularly.
Right.
But yeah, everything's been really good. How are you? And how is everyone doing? Everyone okay?
Well, it's this rain. Now it's so confusing because I met a bloke in town. He went to Australia as a kid. Excuse me. It's getting to my chest now.
Hey, where's your pint? You should have had a pint. You should have had a pint. You'd have gone.
A pint sorts everything out, doesn't it? At least for half an hour anyway. So this bloke I met in the bakery. Shook my hand. Yeah, we need to have a chat. He's a real estate agent in San Martin de Porto. He grew up there as a kid. He moved away to Australia. Worked with Richard Branson in Sydney. Decided to come home, and he's loving it being back in San Martin de Porto. But he said, "Yeah, the weather was always like this when we were kids." I'm not sure about that. And I don't mean to doubt him. I'm not casting aspersions on his veracity, but we do have. Selective memories, I think, don't we, when it comes to the weather? And for some people, it's longer ago than for others. And I've been somewhat vindicated for anyone who says it is normal. I'm looking at a Portugal news article. It's 229% normal, more rain than normal in Portugal. Month of March was very rainy and cold in mainland Portugal, with precipitation value of 229.4% above normal, said IPMA. So I'm not happy about it, quite honestly. It got to me. And then these beautiful couple of days of sunshine did me the world of good.
It teased us, didn't it? It was like
it really did. Yeah. It really did. And is it a similar picture in Spain, or you are getting a bit,
literally.
Bit more
we had 2 weeks of sunshine, mate. We had 2 weeks of sunshine, but we had the wettest March for 35 years. Not that your audience will care because they're not in Spain, but we had the wettest March for 35 years. Yeah, exactly. But you know, in Spain and Portugal, they say abril, aguas mil, right? So
yeah, exactly.
If that happens again, then we are all But my prediction is we're just gonna have a brilliant early summer. from like May till November. I think it'll be gorgeous.
I think you're right. Well, let's keep our fingers
stay
crossed.
positive. Let's stay positive.
We got to stay positive, mate. Any good April Fools this
Easier
year?
said than done for your Portuguese audience, huh? Because in Spain, everyone's more positive generally.
Is that right? Is that right? Well,
Yeah.
did you see?
That's right. He said. That's right. He said. He's the diplomat. Ever the diplomat.
where you're in Madrid airport though, right? That's where you're flying from.
You see the shop? I thought it was quite.
Oh, was that created by British people? It sounds like something from
I mean, did you see the bull? I've got the bull there. Remember that was the controversial thing I couldn't have on my channel, but it's there now.
So the marketing team met for this chain, and they said, "How we get? What should we call the shop? And how should we represent ourselves? It's got to be a massive bull. Do you not think that's a bit stereotyping? No, it's for tourists. Call it El Market de España."
If there was any reason now to change the logo on Good Morning Espana that you kindly did to me from a paella back to a bull, if anyone says anything, I just come to the airport and be like, well, look, this is the first thing that international people see when they come to Madrid, so it can't be that bad, surely.
Exactly. We've got incoming mail proving points of one kind or another here. Oh yes, we've got Pete at the airport having a pint. And Diane.
Really? I'll get him on. Get him on now.
I will save that picture. They look like massive pints there, Pete, or you were just drawn to them as icons of British behaviour, perhaps. Not sure what's going on there and which airport that is, but thank you, Pete, to prove the point that it's an Englishman's right. And in fact,
what airport is he at?
I don't know. He will let us know on that. And apparently, the new permit to fly into the UK, not needed for you and me as British citizens, subjects of His Majesty, but apparently you need a new bit of paperwork to go in. ETA, is it? And I think that
you need a visa.
Well, they're saying it's not a visa. They're saying it's a permit. What's the difference?
Yeah, well, it's just it's just the synonym, isn't it?
Yeah, I think
visa
you're right.
is a synonym for permit.
Permit
means permission, right? Permit is permission, right? So what's the difference between a visa? So it sounds worse. Actually, I think the word permit is more.
It does, doesn't it?
Legally, it sounds more official and more kind of like authoritarian, doesn't it?
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Well, it is what you're going to need going into the UK, and they missed an opportunity because they should have made drinking a pint part of that. You can't come in.
You should have got a voucher. You should have got a voucher. Right?
Weatherspoons. You should get a Wetherspoons voucher with that. It only costs a tenner, but that'll buy you a lot of beer in Wetherspoons. There's Pete.
Oh,
Has he got his own font?
That's the lounge at Lisbon Airport, I think. If I'm not mistaken, maybe, possibly.
With his own font, though. What is this? What is this?
That's the business. No, that's not. I thought that was. What's he got? Has he got his own like? Has he got his own beer pumps at the table?
Exactly. That's what I'm wondering here. What are these, Peter?
Look at that. That's got to be the business lounge, surely. That's got to be a business lounge. That's got to be the tap business lounge. Get him to confirm that, please.
Yes, please.
If that's the case,
what's happening
I will upgrade to business just for that on the way back.
What's happening and when do we meet you there? Other things I want to talk to you about this morning is April the 1st celebrated in Spain? Because we had a little bit of a go ourselves here.
No, it's you're going to laugh at this. So it's Tuesday the 13th of November is when it's Yeah. So the 13th of November is the equivalent of the 1st of April Fool's Day in Spain. Martes 13. Can you believe that?
So, but presumably with a globalized, international and cosmopolitan population, a few people tried it on the 1st of April. Or just go completely unnoticed?
Yeah, no one would. People would be like, "What are you doing?" Like,
really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, right, all right.
Well, in Portugal, do they have April Fool's Day or no?
Well, it was happening anyway. I always do something in the resident. I launched the Portuguese Positivity Party and their 3-day disaster survival kit after the EU.
Quite safe. You could have done something a lot more extreme, I think.
Well,
you could have announced you were moving to Spain to join me.
Nobody would have believed that. Nobody would have
believed
that. Some of them are just too far-fetched, and that's one of them. While you're in duty-free, can you get me a shortwave radio? Because I think that's supposed to be what we're meant to have as part of our survival kits. Can you get me one of those?
Shortwave radio. Yeah, I can get you one. I'll send it to you. I'll FedEx it to you.
Does anyone even know what a shortwave radio is?
No, my babysitter used to have one years ago. She used to talk to her boyfriend. because he lived about a kilometre away. So they used to talk on that.
Oh, that's CB. That's CB.
Oh, that's
then.
CB. Sorry. Yeah, what's
Yeah.
shortwave radio?
Exactly. This is what the EU are
Brilliant.
recommending we all get in a preparedness style, not realizing that most people don't even know what they are.
Who's
But
going to
anyway,
talk? What are they going to hear on it? What are they going to hear on it?
announcements. I'm hoping to
Oh.
be employed by the government to speak
Oh, is that
to
what would happen? Surely we'd just all get a WhatsApp message now, wouldn't we? That'd be the modern equivalent.
I think this is just in case there is no internet and Wi-Fi.
There's no internet. People will start killing themselves.
All right, let's keep it upbeat, shall we?
Yeah.
But
Bom dia alegria todos.
the Portuguese Positivity Party are recommending, in the case of emergency, fully charged phone, Pimba playlist, bread, meats, dried and cured meats and cheeses, of course, that for a long shelf life, at least one evening's worth. Because however much cheese you buy, you tend to try and get through it, don't you? Wine, lots of wine, and vote PPP in the upcoming election. So we've got our election.
So what's the Portuguese 3-day disaster? What was the disaster? Was there like a lockdown or something you were telling people?
No, this is just general preparedness. This is just a little bit.
You've got a big influence over your audience. If you'd done an announcement and said that Portugal's going into lockdown, you'd have got all your audience in for 3 days, and you'd have got
especially if I'm recommending they get wine in for the duration. That's
not a bad idea, actually. Shame we've ruined it now.
It's a terrible idea, Michael. Stop it. Now, one of the other ideas, as well as the Dubai chocolate, Portuguese style with bacalhau in, was the McDonald's announcing the McSardinha there, the love of Portuguese food. So we did have a few laughs over on this side, but not the Spanish, it would appear, in that case.
Because they do it on the 13th of November.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. I should make a mental note of that, just in case you're on.
I think so. I could be chatting absolute rubbish. Oh right, no, isn't no. I think Friday the 13th is Tuesday the 13th in Spain. Oh, I don't know. Ignore me, mate. It's too early.
It's a good content opportunity. It's a good content opportunity for you.
Yeah, true. I'm writing them all down.
I'm going to be looking at the tariffs on Portuguese wine and what that means for the Portuguese wine industry. How have Spain responded? How does Spain generally refer to Donald Trump and what's going on in America at the moment?
Well, they don't like it when Elon Musk starts interfering with politics.
In Spain?
Yeah, because Spain has a socialist party in government right now, and Elon Musk has been very vocal against it, saying he supports the Spanish far right party. And if there's one thing you do not do is you do not mess with the Spanish when it comes to their politics, right? Because as they will tell you, if we wanted a right-wing government and fascism, we had it, and we were much better at it than other countries because we had Franco, who survived for much longer than Hitler and Mussolini.
Wow.
Salazar lasted quite a long time as well. I think Salazar was 74 and Franco was 75. So the Iberian fascist dictatorship.
It puts a new slant on things, doesn't it? It puts a new slant on things. But so plenty of pushback, especially for Musk then on your side of the.
Anybody that interferes with Spain in any form whatsoever from the outside gets pushed back, which I think is great, but especially when it comes to politics. And the Spanish are very good at protesting, and they don't stand for it. It's interesting because you see how Spain has changed so much since Franco fell. And Spain became a parliamentary democracy in the late 70s. And the Spanish still, to this day, indulge and love freedom of speech. So you will often see on Spanish TV talk shows with people talking very animatedly about God knows what. Normally it's, some bullfighter that's got a page 3 girl pregnant. Not that they have page 3 in Spain, but you know what I mean, the equivalent. They'll talk about it for hours, but it's just because because freedom of speech, I guess it's still a novelty in a way, although they haven't lost that yet, which I think is fantastic, because that's the one thing that people complain about the most these days is cancel culture and the fact that, well, do we actually have freedom of speech anymore? And the answer is probably no, which is very sad. But in Spain, they're still trying to cling on to that, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah, well, that's interesting. Thank you for letting us know.
I'm pulling the heartstrings on your anarchist heart, knowing that I can get you to come to Spain instead, mate.
Oh, I see what you're doing now.
I'm just kidding. Carl is not an anarchist. Carl is politically neutral for his audience always.
Well, I think I might. It's a difficult thing to own up to, isn't it? Being an anarchist in the purest sense. I don't think that I don't believe in the breakdown of law and order. But I think we should be left to it a little bit more. Anyway, but enough of my politics, as you rightly say. Then
no, we should talk about it. See, now I'm all for hearing it now.
You know what? I am well up for that. You and I for sure. Maybe the Portuguese are on one session as well. Or tag team. Bring another Spain-based expat with you, and we'll have tag team.
Definitely.
Yes, and we can discuss free speech on the Iberian Peninsula. Thanks,
can I just ask you something quickly? What's the deal with YouTube content these days? What's the no in terms of what gets banned or demonetized? Is it certain words? Is it certain people you can't talk about? Because that to me sounds outrageous. If YouTube's meant to be a platform, I'm probably going to get you demonetized by talking about this now.
Exactly.
No, YouTube,
thanks
YouTube overlords.
I know what you're up to.
We love you, YouTube overlords. Sorry.
I actually don't know. I tend to just say what I want to say, and I feel like I might have paid the price, or just that my videos aren't good enough. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I've never had a ban on YouTube, and I just if I feel like talking about something that's controversial, I'll say it. What I really resent is having to use code words and euphemisms when we're all supposed to be grown
the
ups.
R word and the P word, right?
Exactly. It's ridiculous. But anyway, I'm not up to speed on that. But when we do our thing with the Portuguese, maybe you could get Spain Speaks guy. Stuart. Maybe you and Stu and me and the Portuguese.
Do you know it? Do you know him? I've never spoken to him before.
No, I can have a word with him. With him.
That'd be good. Okay. Let's get on his channel because he's got more subscribers, right?
He has. That's right. That'll be a good career move as much as anything else.
Let's get him on there. Let's plug it on there and get our subscriber count up. Yeah.
Now I think T-Duck is asking for a translation on, because he was over in Spain the other day. One of the beauties, of course, of living near to Spain is that you can go there but still come back again when you're in Portugal. And we're not going to make you miss your flight, are we?
No, it's fine. It's fine. I've got time. I've probably got about another 10 minutes, mate. That's okay.
Okay, all right, good. That would be awful, wouldn't it, if we
it'd be ironic, wouldn't it?
It really would.
It'd be on brand. It'd be on brand, though.
Right.
Coming from Spain, being late.
This just in, then. This is an off license or a bar.
Yeah, the fat dog. The fat
really?
Dog, that means. Yeah, the Fat Dog Brewery.
And would that go down well in Spain? Would be a bit of banter for the Spanish?
Well, the word perra can mean other things, but no, generally speaking, that's pretty safe, I would say.
Right, and Pete was saying that this is in, I think, is this in the Far East? Did you say, Pete? And those, you buy those, they are your own 3 liters of beer.
Oh my God, and they got 2 each, so that's 6 pints. That's 6
liters.
Wow, that's like liters. Going down to the darts.
British legends abroad.
3 liters, but 3 liters each one, right? And there's 565 centiliters in a pint, so that's 6 pints they have in each. That's incredible. That's gangster.
It is gangster.
Respect, utmost respect. I mean, that takes the 1 pint at the airport to another level, doesn't it? That's 6 pints.
It's quite good in all sorts of ways. There's less interaction at the bar. You just buy that and sit there, fall asleep, and miss your flight. It's fantastic.
Yeah, exactly.
I have sent you rare footage of a very, very famous person in his youth. Thank you, everybody, for your wonderful correspondence on 913-590-303. Who is this in Star Trek back in the day? It's Donald Trump in an early Star Trek role.
Oh, look at that. That's amazing.
Oh, you wouldn't get away with that these days, or whatever people say, which you obviously can do.
A little bit, yeah. That's a shame, though. It's a shame.
It's a shame. It's a shame. So what other news have you got from that side of bad marriages and bad wins, mate?
It's a good question, actually. I should have checked, shouldn't I?
You were coming on the Good Morning Portugal. Oh, golden visa's over, isn't it, for Spain?
Yeah, golden visa's over, but we've known that for a while.
Great opportunity for Portugal.
It's a good thing, though. No, but it's a good thing for Spain because I think the prices in Madrid. What would have happened to Madrid because of what happened to Lisbon could have happened to Madrid had they not got rid of it. So I think it's a good thing. I think they
hold on a minute, backtrack a minute. Are you suggesting that golden visa people are overpricing the market, heating the market up?
And the NHR system, yeah, that's what did it, mate. 100%.
You think so? That's quite all right. That's going on the agenda when we have our conversation.
I mean, I can show you the data to prove it. It's 100%.
I'd like to see that.
But then one of my clients, law firm clients, he said blaming NHR and golden visas for the housing prices increasing is like blaming expensive restaurants for the price of onions at the supermarket, which I thought was quite a good analogy. But
hold on a minute. It sounds good, but I'm not sure I understand it.
you don't understand it?
No.
So obviously a restaurant is
oh no, we've lost this
to a different audience, right?
Yeah. No, your signal dropped there.
Sure,
I wasn't doing it on purpose.
Okay, no worries. Well, we'll move on from that. I think we've lost the moment there. But no, I'll say it again. So you can't blame foreigners for the increase in the real estate market in Portugal, just like you can't blame Michelin star restaurants for the price of onions at the supermarket.
Yes. Oh, I agree with that. Don't you? Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I do and I don't. I think that and Spain has to do the same, and we all have to do it because we haven't done this since World War II. But more affordable housing needs to be built en masse in order to counter the housing crisis.
Exactly. Yes, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
We don't blame them.
And it's not an isolated.
No.
Definitely not. No. We can't have a foreigners podcast blaming ourselves.
The problem with the golden visa is that people thought it would be like trickle down economy, and that international investors would use the golden visa for other purposes, whereas most people, they've discovered, they buy a property at an overinflated price, they spend very little time in Portugal to get their European passport, and then they F off to Cyprus.
But they are a tiny minority of people as well, aren't they? And funnily enough, you don't think so?
They're not. No.
Well, we shall return to that.
Yeah.
Sure.
We'll have a debate on that.
Yeah, and the NHR was designed for Portuguese people, wasn't it? At the returning diaspora originally, which seems like a great idea to me.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, we've got so much to talk about.
2011, NHR came in, and there was very little immigration outside of Portugal at that point. In fact, immigration started. Well, there was some immigration that started after that, but it wasn't designed for Portuguese people to F off for 5 years and then come back. It was
no. It's just the people who've been away for a long time, trying to have them come home. I've discovered recently there was work being done to have the Portuguese diaspora return to Portugal, which I think is a fabulous idea. But
I mean, I don't know. I'd have to look into that, but I'd seriously question whether NHR was brought in to help non-habitual Portuguese people come back to Portugal and claim 10 years of lower tax, rather than encourage international people to come and spend money and to help the economy. Because the problem was
leave that hanging there.
Yeah,
let's leave that hanging. Yeah, it's a great subject. It is a great subject. James joins us now. Got Savvy Cat joining us in just a moment as well. And Michael's going to get his aeroplane in a moment. Not just because we've had a bit of a ding dong about the NHR.
I should probably go in a bit. Actually. No, we haven't had a ding dong at all. Mate, that's nothing for us, is it? That's nothing.
It's not really. Bom dia, Gumpers. Feliz sexta a todos. Como vão as coisas? A new video out for the old guy in Europe as well there. I don't know if this is just general advice. Ask the wife from Pete. And in the US, there is the Libertarian Party, which is basically the Leave Us the F Alone party. It's not anarchist, but advocates for no government interference whatsoever in personal lives. Good. And thank you, Savika. I got that. We'll bring you on in just a moment. Sarah's also joined us. And I think I might have stalked you down, Solar Life. That's an ominous message to have to share with everybody. You're on your way to Portugal. Have a lovely time here, Michael.
Thank you, mate.
What's the first thing you're going to do as you touch down?
Get an Uber.
Okay. Yeah, very Portuguese. What's the first traditional Portuguese thing you're going to do when you get back here?
I'll probably have a bitoque for lunch.
Good on you.
Yeah,
good on
with
you.
A glass of red wine and a coffee and a macchiato.
You know it makes sense. Prato de dia style, mate. Love to Spain for the last few moments.
I'm looking forward to coming back. I'm only going to be back for 40 hours, but I'm really excited to be back.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah,
right.
Well,
you have a bon fin semana over here.
Thanks for having me on, mate.
Great fun chatting with you. And
we
will. Well, let's have the politics of the Iberian Peninsula as seen from foreigners.
On a serious note, I'd really like to, because I'm probably totally misinformed on a lot of things that I've just blatantly.
That'd be great, because we both will be. That'll be both.
Well, I'm sure we're both wrong in different ways.
I wouldn't be surprised to find that out. Yeah. And do you know what? There'll be a massive queue of people who want to tell us as well. So that'll be fun.
Absolutely, I can't wait for that. Bring on the trolls, mate. As always, that means it's good. Yeah, ciao.
Bon fin semana. A safe flight. Bon voyage. Safe flight. Cheers, mate. Ciao. From outside of El Market, España, in Spain, obviously, right there. Let's keep that applause going and bring Savvy Cat on. Olá Bom Dia.
Good morning. Bom dia.
Sorry if you had some trouble with the link this morning. How's everything going? Now you're getting ready for the event that's happening in Porto today, right?
Yes, I'll be leaving right after our Good Morning Portugal session.
Cool. All right. Well, it's going to be lovely to catch up with you. How's it looking in Porto? It's often wet.
It's raining. Actually, it was okay most of the week. Yesterday and the day before, it rained a bit on the late afternoon. But for today, it has already started. So
wonderful. Right. Okay. The event that's happening, Americans in Porto, financial planning. If you're really quick, you might be able to join the illustrious panel that will be there live. Now, we should point out this is not a webinar. This is an in real life, an IRL event that's happening, isn't it, in Porto today? And it's with some colleagues you have here
in Matosinhos, actually.
Oh, Matosinhos. Oh, even better though, right? Because it's such a cool part of Porto, on the outskirts there in thriving Matosinhos, a startup hub. And a little kind of suburb in a way, isn't it? And fishing, part of the fishing ecosystem previously, and now a very exciting place to be. And I think is quite a hot spot at the moment, Matosinhos. Americans in Porto, financial planning, real estate, and US tax consultations. I think you're doing the real estate bit, are you not, today?
Yes, I do real estate, and I do a bit of visa advisory too, because I kind of know them inside out at this point.
Yes, of course.
And I can help people, figure out their first steps and how to do them and what they need for the things to happen. We actually have a guide for that in our website, the guide to move to Portugal, that is completely free to download there. And it is kind of a workbook. It's the workbook to move to Portugal. Cool. And a bunch of questions and exercises and things that I think it's important for people to think about before they make the actual steps. Like, why am I moving? What are the things that are truly important for me to have when I go there? What things of my life do I want to change? What are the non-negotiables? And then, of course, some of the technical details of what we'll be needing along the way.
Very, very good, which you can download, as you say, from savvycatrealty.com. Please tell us more about this event and your colleagues here. Then we might even have Ricardo.
Yes, Ricardo is waiting to join us, and I don't think the link worked for him either. So.
Oh, okay. Are you able to pass on the one I just sent you? Because I don't think I have direct contact.
Will it work for both of us?
Yes, indeed. Yeah, it'll be the same one. So we can talk to him in person.
Yeah.
Okay. So he can speak for himself, but when he arrives, if we can get him connected. Nicholas Castillo from Rook CPAs. Tell us a little bit more about them, if you will.
Actually, it's going to be my first time meeting them too.
Oh, okay,
I got this event. I was introduced by Ricardo. We actually have worked with him quite a bit in the past. Whenever clients need more detailed work regarding their tax and double taxation and managing, the income they get from more than one country, he's the person that we generally advise to consult with. Okay. And our clients have been giving us quite positive feedback. And he invited me to do this presential event. I think he's thinking about doing it in Lisbon and the Algarve too, but I'm sure he will be able to give us more details on that.
Oh, excellent.
So this one, it's kind of a one-on-one consultation format. So it's not really a presentation kind of webinar. We will be the whole day on the hotel in Matosinhos, the main one. It's a Four Seasons. It's not a Four Seasons, but it's basically the hotel right in the center of Matosinhos. I know exactly how to get there. 4 points. There it is. 4 points by Sheraton Matosinhos.
There we go. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, and we will be there the whole day. I'll probably only arrive at like 9:30, between 9:30 and 10, depending on the traffic I get once I leave.
Yes.
And then we will be there the whole day, and we'll be available to the one-on-one presential consultations for free.
Oh, that's good. Excellent. Okay, so a great source of information. I recommend that people just get as many options as they possibly can and find the people that are the right fit for them. And this is an ideal opportunity for doing so, isn't it? To meet you and to meet Ricardo and Nicola here this all day today. This goes through until 5 as well. Until we have Ricardo join us, and he can talk a little bit more about what he does. How are things going at Savicat? Yeah, I'm guessing you've been busy. Lots of interest.
Yes. We have been still about 2 to 3 call books a day. So people have been booking. We have free calls available now. It's not with me, it's with the agents. The ones with me are still paid. But with one of my agents, you are able to book a free call on our website. And people have been booking that about twice a day, every day now, almost the beginning of the year. Yep. So you can tell a vast majority of them are Americans, but we also get some British and some people from Arab and Asian countries.
Well, very interesting. Yes, excellent. Good for you. The continuing interest in Portugal. We've got Ricardo joining us now, so let me give him a big round of applause and bring him onto the screen. Olá, bom dia. Tudo bem, Ricardo?
Bom dia, Carl. Thank you for having me today.
Well, it's good to meet you, and good to find out about you. Anna, I did give you a little bit of a promotional introduction earlier on. It's great that you're here to speak for yourself from Liberty Atlantic Advisors. What is it you can do for people?
So we are a team of U.S. financial advisors that we essentially support and help the Americans that are living in Europe. So when they make the transition from the US to Portugal, which is kind of happening more recently, we help on the financial planning side.
Very good.
And because the Americans always going to have sort of this dual, different than other nationalities, they have the dual tax liability. It makes things a bit more complicated. So that's where we come in.
That's wonderful. I'm used to dealing with British financial advisors, and whenever they get asked by an American audience, "Can you help me?" So, oh, no. It's an entirely different compliance and situation, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And actually, a lot of us in the Liberty Atlantic team worked in the European space, worked a lot in the British space in the past. Right. That's the beginning of my career, but again, because I studied in the US, I lived in the US several years, and most of my colleagues are American. We decided that, again, there's this no one wanted to get near the Americans in Europe, not the American companies in the US, and not the sort of European companies. No one really wanted, because this just adds a lot of complexity and compliance. So we decided, okay, why not? There's not a lot of
the nettle
specialists. Yeah, exactly.
It's great to meet you on that basis then, because what we're about here at Good Morning Portugal is giving people options and raising awareness about what they can do and how they can have a great move to Portugal. What are key considerations then? If you're a US person wanting to move to Portugal, presumably you should start the conversations quite early and not wait until you've arrived here to figure everything out.
Yeah, that's our number one piece of advice. I mean, we have a lot of calls during the week, and unfortunately, we still do have a lot of calls where people already moved. They've been here 1-2 years, but then they never realize how complicated it can be, how Portuguese taxes work, the effect on not having an HR most of the time. And when we go through and explain how difficult it can be, and just the layering of the Portuguese taxes on top, then their reaction is they kind of sit back and they start thinking and looking away and like, what am I going to do? So we try to advise people, and again, that's why we collaborate with Anna and Savicat to just start thinking about it at least 6 to 12 months before you make the move. Try to understand exactly what you're going to experience when you move here, because there's plenty of things you can do to make your stay and your move way more efficient.
Good. Okay. I'm hoping you can give us a little bit more guidance on that. In principle, obviously, it depends on the individual, what you're going to do for those people. And Portuguese wine, I think, is one good solution when you find yourself in we're going to talk more about that. We're getting creative about the effect of the tariffs on Portuguese wine. So, Anna, maybe we can talk a little bit as though we're advisors to the Portuguese marketing team who want to open up new markets around the world.
Actually, I just wanted to make a note about what Ricardo was saying, because basically there are some things that it's fairly easy to get straightforward information online that even despite there's being a lot of bad information online, some things are kind of, straight. Like for the visas, they have these rules and that's those rules and that's it.
Yes.
But for taxes and for finances, it is extremely dependable on the person's income and how they get them. So it's very much a personal scenario. It's hard to give generalized advice. Yeah. So it's something that can be quite complex, and a lot of my clients have that fear, because like everyone's saying, that's quite complex and it's kind of a pain to deal with. Yep. So it's really something that you really need to do one-on-one, depending on your particular situation.
Thank you for that. And start having the conversation early. Who is your ideal client, Ricardo? Who should be working with you?
So we don't really have sort of an ideal type of client, or we call it ideal client is the client that sort of listens, I guess. Yes, is the client that tries to listen, then the relationship works way better. Yes. The type of client that we prefer, again, we are only in the business of long-term relationships. We, again, as you know, as things change quite often in Portugal and Spain, that's where Italy and France we also work a lot with, but Portugal and Spain, things tend to change quite often in terms of tax rules. I mean, we're going the third election in 3 years, so again, there's quite significant changes that may happen, and we need to be proactive with the plan. So the type of client that we prefer to work with is people that are looking for that long-term relationship, are looking to understand that this is complex and they value the help and they can understand the value that we provide. But mostly is when they come to Portugal is looking to enjoy the quality of life and sort of the differences in culture that you have between the US and Portugal. So as you're coming here, enjoy your life and having the right professionals to help you, essentially. That's
very good. Very good. And we are talking about wealth management, aren't we? And the management of not only the investment portfolio, but minimizing the liability and impact of taxation. And that presumably that's where you work in conjunction with Nicholas as well to minimize the tax liability.
Correct. So Nicholas is one of our partners. He's a CPA in the US, and even though the wealth management is the sort of the core of our work, we believe that the financial planning and the tax planning is way more important than kind of how we invest the money at the end, because it's going to have a bigger impact if the client makes the right financial decisions and the right tax decisions. That has a major, more impact on the plan than if they get another % in return or not.
Yes, right. It could be wiped out, couldn't it? If you're focusing too much on the investment side, but it's just being leached away by some tax oversight. What's the point? Yeah, absolutely. Well said. Mr. S says an ideal client is the one who has NHR and knows the difference. That's not a scheme that's as widely available as it used to be, of course. Olá, Anna, and Ricardo. Question for Ricardo. I've never gotten a definitive answer for, is there a legal requirement for which country needs to file first, US or Portugal? What's your view on that, Ricardo?
In terms of a legal requirement, I don't think there's anything binding, but the idea, and this is when you're American and you have your address in Portugal, and the US knows that you're no longer living in the US, it gives you an automatic extension so you can file in Portugal first. Because the idea is that there's going to be tax credits that you receive on the US side, so technically you should do it in Portugal first and then collect the credits that you've already paid at source in the US. So that's usually the way to go, but I don't think there's this legal requirements per se.
Yes. Okay, that's interesting. So maybe that's the reason you haven't heard of a legal requirement, because there isn't one specifically. But depending on your circumstances, it may be useful to file in Portugal first, and then, as Ricardo says, use the credits there. Franco has said the US. I think it like you're saying, it's one of those Portuguese answers, isn't it? It depends. for sure.
There's quite a few of those. Yeah, there's quite a few of those.
It's one of the things I've heard most often, and that's why you need the professional help, of course. On the NHR, then, do you think the new government might be inclined to reintroduce it or go back to what we once had?
Highly doubt.
Okay,
it's highly doubt. At least not for the next 5 years, I believe.
Okay, you might be able to help me with something here. When I was just talking to Michael Heron, who was flying in from Spain, I was told that it was originally introduced to attract Portuguese diaspora population back into Portugal. Is that correct?
I was listening in, and I could probably add as well some information on this, but I believe so, especially because they also had this program called Regresar, like return, which is similar. Not sure if you heard of that program. So it's basically if you came back to the country, you had, I don't know the details of, but you could get some also tax benefits. So they kind of started at the same time. Again, I don't know if it was just specifically for that, but one of them, the initial points were to get people that were working overseas and Portuguese people that were working overseas to return to the country.
Yeah. I met a gentleman who does consultancy work for the government and banks, and he was part of an EU project. Actually, it was funded by the EU to encourage Portuguese people around the world to return to Portugal to enjoy this quality of life. I think that would be such a wonderful thing. He was saying it often split the household. The mum, the matriarchal side of the family. Yes, let's go home. Dad, not so much. And the kids who got used to a different lifestyle abroad. We love going back for holidays, but I don't know if we want to live back in the country. But however, things have changed, and that looks a whole lot more attractive suddenly, I think, for people. On that note, Ricardo, we've not talked to you before, and you mentioned briefly the Portuguese lifestyle. What is it you love about Portugal? What are you saying to people who are thinking about moving to Portugal? What's your view on that personally?
I'm probably a bit biased because I do like my country a bit too much, I guess. And I'm from the south, and I live in a small southern near Algarve in a city called Tavira. And I moved to Lisbon when I was 13 years old. I stayed there until then I moved to the US. And then in 2020 with COVID, I had to return. And then there was a possibility of going back to the US, but the quality of life between what I have right now in Portugal, I value it way too much. It just depends on the personality, of course. I always say it just depends. Like the US is a way faster pace lifestyle, which again, I don't mind, but I really value. I always comment with my with my American friends, like, give me my lunch hour. Like that's really valuable to me.
That's right.
Give me that.
Non-negotiable.
That's non-negotiable.
Yeah.
In the US and even in UK, there's that. It's common to work throughout. You eat at your desk, right?
Yeah.
Like in Portugal, we don't really do that. So
we don't want to make our Portuguese grandmothers cry, do we? I mean, that's the sort of thing. Your grandma would think something was seriously wrong if you're sat eating a sandwich in a plastic box at your desk. Oh God, yes.
Yes. No, she calls me every week. It's like, hey, you want to come here for lunch or for dinner? I was like, I'm actually working. I mean, I can make a lunch stop, but I can't really just
too
come
much work is going to be
day.
bad for you. That's right. Good old grandma. Fantastic. So there you go. I love that insight into the culture and the non-negotiable lunch hour, but at least an hour, right?
I do think that the Algarve is suspicious on that because everyone I know from the Algarve, they eventually go back from the Algarve. It's the climate, it's the beautiful coastline. Most people from the Algarve, even if they go out, and they often go out because the job opportunities tend to be mostly on the tourism section and a bit limited, but they always want to come back. And generally, if they don't come back, it's for financial reasons and not for personal reasons.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
Correct.
Or at least a holiday every year, right? Back to the village, back to the town of birth to see the relatives, and at least once a year be there. Sneaky question. I'm not sure if we can allow this, can we, Ricardo? We just sold our UK house and paid capital gains tax there. Do we also have to pay the difference here in Portugal? We've had one accountant say yes and one no. Now, this does happen in Portuguese accountancy, doesn't it? You can get the answer you want in some ways, but what's the right answer here?
Again, it's the classic Portuguese. Just depends, okay? And
Right.
my mom is an accountant, okay, so I do have some privileged information.
Right.
It just really depends, okay? Because you have to look at the double taxation agreements. You have to look at the again, that agreement basically says that property, where you sell the property, the country of source has the right to tax.
Yep.
But then it depends if you have an HR, if you don't have an HR. Usually, if you have an HR, it could be exempt. Then it goes back to when you sold the house, and there is, or usually when you sell the house as a Portuguese resident without an HR, potentially you have to pay the difference.
Okay. All right.
Would that the exemptions apply to foreigners too? Like, for example, if you sell a house and rebuy for personal use, you get tax exemption. Would that also apply to foreigners?
Depends if it's European. If it's in the European space, yes. If it's like US, UK, because of Brexit now,
makes
it no
sense.
longer applies. So
Oh,
that's
okay.
EU exemption when you have a period when you first sold, then you have a period, and after I think it's 3 years, there's a 2-year, 3-year period where you can sell and then buy. If it's your main property, you can get all the capital gains exemption. But if it's anywhere outside Europe, that no longer applies.
Amazing. Okay, thank you for that answer. I don't think you expected to be coming here to answer questions this morning, so I appreciate that. I hear technically and can regarding filing in Portugal first, but not legally required, as Ricardo said. The reason is it's a big deal, is that it's much easier to file in the US first rather than fool around with extensions. Okay, thanks for that as well, João Ernesto de Norte, on that. Right now, I know you guys have got to go off to talk to people one-to-one. It's a very helpful a service that you're providing today. People can come and share with you there. It depends personal circumstances and get some decent advice from you there. Americans in Porto, financial planning. Have you got 8 more minutes for me to talk about how we can market Portuguese wine around the world? Is that all right?
I actually just wanted to leave a note about Tavira, about the comment Mr. S made.
Yes.
We actually had like a few clients move to Tavira, so it's not impossible. We have but it's definitely getting quite popular.
Yes, you need good help. That's the point here, isn't it? So Savvy Cat can do that for you.
And it's not the most expensive place in the Algarve, but it's not exactly cheap at this point either.
And it's a lovely place, isn't it? It's a lovely place. Ricardo's hometown there.
Oh, yeah.
It still retains some of its original charm, doesn't it? And long may that continue. Right. I'm going to refer to the Friday briefing, Portugal Decoded. Please get Portugal Decoded. It's a great service in English for you if your Portuguese isn't up to scratch yet. Good morning. Welcome to Portugal Decoded. Not an April Fool's prank. Trump's tariff hikes could have a significant negative impact on Portugal's economy. I'm sure you're keeping a close eye on that in the financial advisory world there, Ricardo, and watching this come out almost hour by hour. We've got a little screenshot from Portugal Decoded. It's a very interesting scene. That's what it's worth, the Portuguese export market. And who knew that Portugal basically sent such things as pharmaceuticals, mineral fuels, rubber, electrical machinery, mechanical machinery, a lot, 2,903 million euros, a trade surplus with the US in 2024. Also cork, iron and steel, all the things that Portugal makes. It's incredible. Textiles and footwear, furniture and knitted apparel we're including there as well. And a little bit of a concern from the wine industry. Trump tariffs an opportunity for Portugal wines. So the president of the Douro intermunicipal community has warned about the immediate impact of the new 20% tariffs. They are an EU tariff, of course, not a specifically Portuguese one, on the wine business, and argued that the region should explore new markets. You are both well traveled around the world. I suspect you have quite a good working knowledge of Portuguese wines as well. Where do you think we should go in the world with our Portuguese wines if it's going to be difficult to take them into the United States for the foreseeable future? Anna, where would you like to go with me?
I'm actually, on that note, I just wanted to say that while I was in the US, I did visit a few wine shops and so on, and I was surprised that Portuguese wines didn't seem to be all that popular. It's like more like French wines and so on. People seem to be that aware of the quality of Portuguese wines, at least in the West Coast where I was. I don't know if Ricardo had a different experience. So
Of course, 'cause- yes, you're well versed in the United States as well, aren't you, Ricardo? What is the Portuguese wine market like from your personal experience?
Well, what I was, and I was more in the south, the south in the US.
Right.
Compared to Spain, France, and Italy, we didn't have that many wines exported. Again, we don't produce at the levels that
Yeah.
Spain, France, and Italy do.
we are small.
Yeah. Again, when I traveled to then California and then to New York, then there was a bit more exposure to Portuguese wines. Again, I probably think we just have to look at different markets.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly the numbers. I don't know if the US actually, there's a lot of Portuguese wine drinkers or people that drink a lot of Portuguese wine in US, but it's just time to look at different markets. Probably
that's the
more
big
in the
question.
European department as well.
Yeah,
And completely different on scale. I mean, the US is a multi-billion-dollar, and a lot of people. How many people does the US have now? Portugal has 11 million, so I'm sure that's a lot of times more.
350 million, isn't it?
250, yeah.
That's how the export market for Portuguese wine looked last year. Number one consumers, and that's probably quite a few Portuguese people in France buying Portuguese wine. And Brazil, of course, the third. Again, the great Portuguese influence and diaspora buying Portuguese wines. But the question is, if we go to work for the Portuguese Wine Marketing Board later on today, if they see this and give us an invite to go and work with them, Anna, where would you like to go in the world with a box of Portuguese wine and do tasting sessions? Japan, I'm guessing, would be one possible place.
Well, Japan is definitely somewhere I want to visit, but honestly, market-wise, I would say Arab countries would be more interesting.
Really?
Would be considered kind of oh no, but because of the Muslim culture that doesn't allow alcohol, never mind that. So maybe
the expat market in those countries, maybe.
But generally, it's nice to target luxury markets with this kind of products, because the import and the costs of just moving things around, they become quite expensive and kind of luxury products. So they have to be marketed as such. So it makes more sense to go for high economies.
Yeah, very good. Okay, well, I think you and me should go to see Luis Pato, get a few boxes of wine, and then go maybe to the Far East. Pete found that the Portuguese wines are very popular in Asia as well. So that's an interesting market there. Algarvian wines, Ricardo, are we taking those somewhere? Where do you fancy going in the world with a box of Portuguese wine?
Yeah, my guess would be to Asia as well. I think probably we don't export much to that area. The Algarvian wines actually growing. There's way more companies, and the Algarvian wines they're traditionally a bit more, I think, sweet. Yeah, they're sweeter than the different regions, Alentejo and the Douro. So yeah, I would potentially go into Asia. It's not the area I have much experience on. I traveled a lot in the world, but not much to Asia. So I would, I think happy to go with you.
Right, the three of us are willing to take that risk, aren't we? And
exactly.
And even though we don't know it very well, we'll pop over with some, and we're happy to represent the Portuguese wine industry. Should you be looking at us this morning? Just finally, then, I know you've got to go to the session today and help people with real estate, with taxation, and with financial management and wealth management. Today, we've got Mr. S asking where you are in the US. I think you're in Porto today, aren't you?
Today.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, most of our colleagues, or most of my boss and my colleagues, we're all in Europe. Even though it's a US company, we're all based in Europe. We're based in Portugal. I'm in the south. We have my colleague Jennifer in Porto, and then everywhere is just kind of spread around Europe, in Spain, France, and Italy.
Okay, wonderful. And then just finally, people can come and see you today at the event, and I've got the link in the chat for that. And you can see the best way to get in touch with Anna. If you're looking for a place in Tavira, for example, savvycatrealty.com. And Ricardo, what's the best way to find out about you and the work of Nicholas as well?
Yes, so I think if you click the link, you will have an ability to get in touch with us. I think my contact information is there. I think the event has closed the sales because we don't have any more space in the morning. But if you contact us directly, I should be able to arrange time to see and meet with you. And the idea of the event, again, because we don't do with the reason for the individualized sessions is that's why we don't do like a webinar or a seminars, because it just depends on the person's situation. A lot of it is just there's the depends answers, especially in finance, exactly. So that's why we would like to have the one-on-ones, just so again people can ask questions and we can talk a bit more personalized.
Is it okay? And you're the organizer, so I have to ask you: Is it okay? Is it okay for people to just show up and walk in and just a quick chat?
Yeah, exactly. That's my other thing. We're gonna be there the whole day.
We will be in the hotel until the 4 Points in Matosinhos until 5 p.m.
Very, very good. Thank you. And is that a good translation, Gata desenrolada?
Desenrascada. Desenrolada is actually to roll. You know, when you have something that's rolled and you unroll it. That's what
recipe. Okay. We're not eating cats here, right? Okay. Where were you? He wants to know in the US. What's your favorite part of the United States, Ricardo?
I would probably. I mean, I really like Boston. That's my favorite city. Even there's a lot. I played tennis, so I went on a scholarship, and I played at Ole Miss, University of Mississippi. Yeah,
fantastic.
They have a really good tennis program. So I travel a lot around the South. But Boston is where I was going to stay and going to work, and at my favorite city in the US by far.
Good for you. It's been lovely to meet you this morning. Thank you. You're very welcome to come back with Anna, and let's talk some more. You've given some great service to people this morning, so thank you so much for that. Just finally on It Depends. I was going to ask you for a Portuguese translation of It Depends, but when I've asked Portuguese people before about that, they've said, well, it depends on which it depends you mean. So I think we might have to just leave it there.
Depends.
Right. All right, Ricardo, thanks so much. Savica, Anna, thanks so much. Thank you, Hugo. Bon fin semana. Ciao, ciao. And we'll see you on Monday.
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts.